So in today's client interview, I'm interviewing Wahab. Wahab joined our program about, he said, 5 months ago. And in that time frame, he's gone from having maybe one or two clients here on the side, really stuck in his own head. A lot of perfectionism, a lot of worry, trying to figure things out, didn't know how to get more clients, didn't really know how to scale effectively, to now, he's looking at doing anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 this month, only 5 months later. And so he's had a pretty solid transition. I think October he wrapped up at just over $10,000 in new business. That's new business, which is incredible. And so, I just want to share Wahab's story because I think there's a lot of people in his shoes where you've got one or two clients, you've got a little bit of momentum, you know that like the model works, but you're just like kind of stuck at that stage of like, okay, so what do I do next? You've gotten some of your first payments, you've made 10 or 20 grand in your career, and you're just like ready for that next stage. And that's where Wahab was. And in this interview, he's really going to share all of the breakthroughs that he's experienced in getting to that next level. And genuinely, whether you pay us a dime or not, I want my interviews to be valuable enough for your time and for your eyes that you watch the whole thing and take action on what we share and then go grow your business. So my job is that purely out of reciprocity of the value of our content, you end up doing business with us, you schedule a call, you hear if you're a good fit, and obviously we reserve the right to say no, but we'll make an offer if we see that we can help you. So that being said, welcome to the channel, Wahab. He's an incredible dude, and he's easily going to blow past multiple five figures a month. His goal for 2022 is anywhere from $50,000 to $60,000 a month. His longer term goal is $100,000 a month, and it's amazing to me the amount of confidence you can hear in his voice of like, yeah, I know exactly what I got to do to get there. It's literally just a matter of time, and I love hearing that from clients of ours. So welcome once again to the channel, Wahab. All right, Wahab, welcome to the channel, brother.
Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Yeah, man. Total pleasure. I was just telling you before we kicked off the recording that I noticed that like probably like one of the only times I've like spoken to you directly, despite like a little bit of Instagram DM exchange and stuff, was literally I sent you a Slack in our channel just now and I said, hey, I'm hopping on the Zoom.
Yep.
And I was just realized like, dude, this guy just is a silent killer. Like he just did what we told him to do. He came in, he showed up, he followed the game plan call. He followed the community standard, and now you are where you are, where you're wrapping up from what I believe to be your first $10,000 month, and now we've given you a blueprint to continue to scale. I think you got off a call with one of our coaches. You're going to keep going, so I'm just excited for you, brother. I love the momentum, and I want to capitalize on that while we have it. And so hopefully, if we have some time after the interview's over, just give you some clarity, maybe download some stuff to you and keep it moving. So, dude, I'll let you take the ball, man. What's your experience been like? What have you learned? Kind of tell us your story for the viewer. They see this title, from zero to here in this time frame, interview with Wahab. Walk people through what really happened and your story.
Yeah, for sure. So I joined the program about 5 months ago, I believe. And at that point, I was doing maybe around 2 to 3,000 per month. It was pretty inconsistent as well. And obviously I've been at that point for like a long time, and I was just like, man, I'm sick and tired of being at this level. Like, you know what I mean? Like just inconsistencies, and it's just not enough, revenue being generated. So obviously decided to get help earlier this year. And I think biggest thing for me joining this program, there's too many to name off, but I'll give you like just key ones for me. Where number one, I think raising my standards. That was huge for me. Remember you did the was it the mental boot camp, I think, where we're just kind of
mental reprogramming boot camp.
Yeah,
part of the course training. Yeah,
that course training. Going through that and just being able to raise my standards and like not settling for 2 to 3K months and all this stuff. So that helped me a lot. Just raising my standards in general. Another thing that helped me a lot was just consistency, and knowing the value of it, and knowing like just it literally doesn't matter how you're feeling today. You just got to do some key action items that you already have set in place. For example, David Mormon, I believe, he goes over
one of our, just for the viewers, just to clarify who that is, one of our success stories out of the program. Right. You can actually go down on our interviews and see he did like 60K his first 30 days.
He's a beast. Crazy. He's a beast.
He's a beast, dude. And we interviewed him in that interview, private only for our CB students, is there. And he just broke down everything he did. So we're talking about the same guy, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
There's not
Yep.
another
Yep.
David Mormon.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
he's a beast. But yeah, basically he goes over how every morning he does is something. I think he calls it the 20-mile march. I believe that's called.
Daily
And
20-mile march.
exactly. And what that is, it's basically every day, no matter how you're feeling, whatever, you're gonna do these key action items that you have set in place. So consistency that has helped so much, and yeah, the fact that David Mormon, kind of went over everything he does, that helped a lot as well
Mm,
with me.
mm,
So yeah, honestly, that is pretty much it. Raising standards, consistency. Obviously, the community as well has been very, very helpful.
mm,
Like I told before the recording, I told Trey, I was like, yeah, I just got off a call with Jeremy yesterday, and we're going over plans to kind of scale this to 15 to 20K. And just having that
mm.
community, having people you can look up to, and if you need help, they're there. It's been really, really like helpful to me because
Yeah, dude.
it's lonely sometimes. You know what I mean? Like I don't know a lot of people, especially in my local town, who are doing what I'm doing. So
Mm,
having a community, it definitely helps out a lot. So yeah.
mm. That's awesome stuff, dude. That's awesome stuff. So get give the viewers some more detail on what you're doing, um, your niche, your offer, kind of everything like that. Because I just posted an interview like 2 days ago with Jeremy Degg in our community,
Yep.
and
Yep.
I got so many messages like, okay, so what does he do? And I'm like, I guess
Mhm.
I didn't mention that, did I?
Mhm.
But because I assume it translates, but it doesn't always. So what do you do? And what do you do for your clients? What are you selling and how do you sell it? The golden question in business. What are you selling and how do you sell it?
Yeah. So we work with e-commerce brands.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, our goal with them is to get them to the 50 to 100K month mark,
Mm-hmm.
recurring revenue, and we do that with paid
Mm-hmm.
traffic, which is Facebook
Mm-hmm.
ads, Instagram ads.
Mm-hmm.
Looking into doing other platforms as well, but for now it's just those two platforms.
Cool.
How we're selling it? Basically, we do three things for them. First thing we do is we basically make them the go-to figure in your industry.
Mm-hmm.
We do that with like copywriting and just knowing about their customer and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Next thing we do is kind of testing their different products out and just
Mm-hmm.
making sure they know what products to focus on. Just so they're not wasting time and money putting into other products that may not be pushing.
Cool.
So we figured that out. And the third thing we do is just doubling down. Really, we just pour more
Mm.
muscle into what was already working before. Whether that's
Yeah.
spending more money,
Yeah.
capitalizing on other things we were doing before. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
100%. Yeah, in a way, it's kind of what we do in CB. Like, especially for a guy like you doing 2 or 3 thousand a month, it's like it's good money for like a guy your age. Maybe on the side, you can kind of it's some freedom money, and it's like it's easy to settle there. But then when you come in, we're like, look, like you've got this proof of concept. We know that it can scale further. Like, do what we're going to tell you to do to get more attention, get more calls, make more offers, scale your delivery, and let's get you there. And so it's very similar in a way what you do to what we do in that we focus our clients on what we notice is working, but we just kind of help them think bigger about the systems that they could be implementing that they otherwise, probably didn't think of themselves or didn't think they were capable of or worthy of or didn't have the right self-image, who knows. So, before I clicked the recording and turn this thing on, the thing you talked about most was just the mental side of things. And it's funny because so many of our viewers, dude, are like, Trey, please stop talking about it. Like, I just want to know, like, how do I sell? Like, what's the offer? Da 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 da. And like, trust me, dude, we literally custom build offers for our clients in CB. Like, we will sit down with you and say, here's your deliverables, here's the price. We know this will work because you got like 80 other people that it's working for that we've helped. So it's like, here's the thing. Um, so that aside, because that stuff, honestly, brother, it's easy. What clicked in your head in this process? Because I literally probably know if I were to go into some of these like marketer Facebook groups or whatever, I could find like 800 people doing what you do that can't get more than one client at a time. So like,
Mhm.
what clicked, man? Because you're in a pretty populated niche, and I think a lot of our viewers are aware of that. Maybe some aren't, but the e-commerce marketing niche is popular, and it's because it
Mhm.
scales well. It's a good niche to be in, but so many people are stuck. So what clicked for you, and how did we help you do that?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think biggest thing was not assuming who my ideal customer is.
Mm,
I know that's something that you preach heavy on.
mm,
Like I before, like I was like I was like, thinking of like this like perfect ideal customer that I need to have. You know what I mean? Like, but honestly,
Mm.
like once I stopped making assumptions, once I looked at the actual numbers that I have, that does another thing, by the way. I started tracking numbers for once. That helped a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
Big one, man.
yeah, big one.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, just not making any assumptions, just kind of letting the market tell me what they need rather than me being in love with this idea of what my agency is supposed to look like. I think
Mm.
that right there, biggest thing. After I started doing that, I started getting way more meetings than I had. So yeah, pretty much it. Just don't make assumptions about your market.
Dude,
Let the market tells
100%.
you what they need. That was the
100%.
biggest thing for
And I
me.
think
Yeah.
a lot of people getting 100%, dude, so many people getting into business, like where that probably comes from is like comparison to the big dogs in the industry. And you're like, my thing needs to look like their thing. Cause clearly the way that it looks is like why it's, and I did the same thing. Like there's a video on my channel. I was just going back on my YouTube when I need to get back into YouTube mode. Cause I've done back end for like 4 months now. Our team's there, products there. I'm going back into influencer mode recently, which is a part of this initiative of doing more client interviews and just talking about the, and putting out content. But I went back on my YouTube channel and I found this video that I made with my girlfriend of us reacting to my old marketing material. So I don't know if you watched that,
Hmm.
but I was
I've seen
looking
it.
at it.
I've seen it.
Yeah. And I was watching it and I was like, dude, I was literally just modeling the surface level stuff that I saw other people doing. And I didn't know any of the substance. You know what I mean? And so people will model the surface level and they'll be like, why isn't this working for me? And then a lot of the time when we bring somebody to CB, we see that. We see like, oh, clearly you follow this big guy in the industry and you just like modeled their funnel and thing and like called it something similar too. And like you pose like them and everything, but it's like it's not working for you. Well, it's because the fundamentals are lost in that process. And so if you're kind of this perfectionistic nature, I don't know, I'm not gonna place blame on you for that. I was the same way. But when you have this perfect ideal vision of what your business is supposed to be, it prevents it from becoming what it's, designed to be inherently based on market feedback and adjustment and iteration over time. Is that kind of like a way of explaining what you mean by that? Just like letting go of this perfectionistic ideal?
Yeah, no, 100%. You exactly couldn't have said it better.
Mm,
Just staying
mm,
detached, you know what I mean? Like, just don't be in love with an idea of what the ideal customer is supposed to look like.
mm.
Because perfectionism kills. Simple as that, you know what I mean? It just kills.
Yeah.
So staying
What
detached,
else did you have to let go of? Like perfectionism, thinking you have this ideal client in your head. What were some other beliefs that weren't serving you that we were able to help you let go of? Is there anything else that comes to mind?
as far as beliefs go, honestly, it's a lot because 0 to 10K, it definitely is a personal journey. And
Yes.
it's really all mental.
Yep.
So some of like the biggest mental hurdles I ever had were, will this even work for me? Is this
Mm,
business even going to make me money? Will, like, you know
mm,
what I mean? Like will this hurt me? Will this be long term? Even questions will come up time to time. Am I even worthy of getting this much money?
mm,
You know what I mean? Um, and that comes from just self and raising standards as well. And
mm,
also from time to time, I had a chip on my shoulder. I wanted to prove people wrong. I wanted to prove that I was the man. And it's
mm.
funny because as soon as you start doing it for yourself, it's so much different. It's so
Yeah.
much different. It's a different ball game. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
yeah, I had a chip on my shoulder that I wanted to be the man. I wanted to be, just everything. So yeah, having a chip on your shoulder doesn't help. Not at all.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like just do it for yourself. Do it for your future family. Do it for the people around you.
mm,
Do it for your family. You know what I mean? And just keep at it. So yeah, those were some of the biggest mental hurdles, honestly, that I
mm.
kind of came across just going through this whole journey.
That's powerful, dude. Where do you think you picked those up along the way? Is it just like here and there, hearing people talk? Was it like program material? I think people are gonna be curious, like, okay, like that's like a big personal transformation. Like
Yeah,
what exactly? How did that happen?
I'll show
That's
you
you just threw
this
some major.
right here.
What do
This
you
is
mean?
how it happened. The phone, man, social media comparison to others. I feel like that
Mm,
was the biggest thing for me. I'm like, I see people my
mm,
age making way more money than me, and I'm like, what the heck? What am I doing wrong?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So yeah, I think it just comes from comparison to others, really. I think it
mm,
just stems from that. So
mm. That's good. And do you feel like you're healed from that, or do you feel like it's like still a battle, or do you feel like, you know what, I'm done and I'm just doing this for me now? Like, where do you feel
I
like
think
you're at there?
I think I'm done really. Like, I've
Love it, dude.
came to terms with what I was, but like now it's just like, I'm
Yep.
doing this for myself. There's literally
Yes.
no
That's
reason
good,
why I
dude.
need to be comparing to any other person. So yeah, at this point,
Yeah.
it's just really just for me.
I love it, dude. And once I got to that place in my head, man, the same thing happened. What's cool, a side effect too, is like, the real players in any industry, I think legitimately do not think about their like competitors. Like, I think I put something on my Instagram story. I was like, everybody thinks that I'm like competing against these guys, but like legitimately, if they saw my DMs, like we're all friends. Like there's no real issue. It's just like, hey, how'd you do that launch? Like, how much you bring in? Oh, cool. Like, I'm gonna take notes from that and do it here. And then once you stop, like once you can stop envy in its tracks, you can learn so many lessons by just like asking questions from a place of humility. And that one thing alone, honestly, dude, is my like 7-figure secret. Because I was so jealous and envious, dude. When I got started, I was in the exact same place. I was like, dude. Like, and like the worst part was I couldn't be mad because they deserve it. And I was like,
Mhm.
they're working so hard, they're adding so much value, they're so smart. And so it was like, it would be easier to be envious if they were like legitimately like scamming people, but they weren't. And I was like, so I know what that feels like, dude. And it's a powerful place to be, where you're coming to a place of fruition where you're like, you know what? Like, I think in your head at some point, Wahab, whether it was hearing me share my journey with that on a call, maybe, or it was working with a coach, I don't know. But at some point, something clicked for you. And it's a powerful click that now this is about me versus me. And this isn't about me feeling good compared to, this is about me feeling good, like in juxtaposition to old me. It's a battle of killing the old self, really, and just becoming a new person. There's that scripture verse of it talks about like the renewal of your mind, right? And I think one of the things that I talk with our coaches all the time, because I've gone from coaching our clients to coaching my team. You know what I mean? That's been like the big transition. I tell them all the time, like, dude, we got to renew people's minds. Like, they come in here thinking they need one thing, and then once we actually ask a lot of questions, it turns out they need a whole other thing. And then like we have to prepare them for that transition because it's gonna be tough. Um, but yeah, dude, I'm just proud, man. What are some of your advice to people that kind of are where you were? Um, and then after that, I'd love to talk about your goals and how you're planning on getting there. But first, some advice from you about maybe it could be tactical, be strategic. It could
Mhm.
also be mental. It could be whatever. Just like imagine, let's say I paid you for coaching or something. I don't know. And you're just helping me get out of that 1 or 2 clients a month kind of a mentality.
Mhm.
And I have similar struggles to what you had. What would be your advice?
Yeah. So biggest thing would probably be personal life, honestly.
Mm,
Make sure your routines are set in place. Make sure, you're exercising, you're working out.
mm,
Just make sure you're in a position where you can go all in on this thing. Um, because, getting to 10K, it is mostly mental. And then the rest just comes from pure, just, in the trenches, doing the work, consistency. So biggest thing would be a person who's worthy of 10K. Um,
mm.
Number two, just go hard at it. Like, just go hard, go ham. You know what I mean? Just go all in. Volume, consistency is the biggest things that you need to be working on.
Mm.
So that
Let
would
me ask
be
you real quick. Go all in versus what? Like, what do you think most people are doing compared to go all in? Is it like kind of they're half in, half out? Like one foot's in the door, and if this works, I'll go harder. If it doesn't, I'll pull
yeah.
out. Like, what do you think go all in compared to?
Comparing to you doing other projects, basically, like
Mm,
for me, for example, when I first started, I was, looking into doing drop shipping while also doing the agency on the side. You know what I mean? So
mm,
pick one business model and just stick with it,
mm,
until you see success with it, really.
mm.
Because your energy is very limited, throughout the day. So if you have energy going here and you have energy going here, it's just not enough really to sustain. So just pick
Yeah,
one thing and go all in on it. So
mm.
yeah, I think
It's good.
yeah, that would be my piece of advice to a beginner, to someone who's maybe at the 1 to 2 client mark. Just be a
I
10K a
love it,
month
dude.
person, volume, consistency, and just yeah, stick at it.
What do you think a 10K a month person is? Well, let me ask you this: who are you now compared to who you were? Like, because I believe success you attract. You don't pursue it. It just comes to you as a byproduct of who you are. That's,
Mm-hmm.
principle number one for me in like the success of any of our clients' businesses or even our businesses. Like my team has to be worthy of the volume and the results that we create for our clients, and I have to be worthy
Mm-hmm.
to be the leader. And it's almost like I don't reach my goals; I just reach my standards, right? So whatever my standard is, we're going to do that that month or that
Mm-hmm.
year, or whatever. So what do you think the contrast is between who you were, who you are now? Like, what are some key differences um, in that person? Because I think that's an interesting juxtaposition of like the journey you've gone through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So definitely no more comparison. That's the biggest thing for me. I'm not looking
Mm,
at other people and being like, I wish I was there, because I know I'll get there.
mm-hmm,
It's just a matter of time. You know what I mean? Everyone has their
mm-hmm,
own different journey. Everyone has their own pieces. So
mm-hmm,
comparison for me, definitely.
mm,
Another thing that you mentioned was envy. And to be honest with you, I definitely used to be envy of people who had success and I
mm-hmm,
didn't.
mm-hmm.
But now I'm just like, the wins channel is just blowing up all the time, and I'm like, This is amazing." Like, I'm surrounded
You
with
mean the
people
wins
who are
channel in
winning.
our Slack for the program?
Yeah, yeah,
Nice. Yeah.
exactly. It's just blowing up, and I'm like, man, this is awesome. Being around people who are winning, it just feels so
Mm,
good.
mm,
Um, so yeah, a lot of who I used to be was definitely mental.
mm,
So you know what I mean. Just going through those mental hurdles
mm,
was definitely the biggest changes that I've gone through. It'll be the biggest changes that I will go through in the future as well.
mm.
So yeah.
I love it, dude. I love it. I love showing people the very crystallized like um example, crystallized meaning like very real and measurable example of somebody's internal like game shifting. And now don't get it twisted, guys. Like CV is not just a mindset program. Like we address that stuff because without that stuff, the technical that we teach doesn't work. Like our sales trainings, bar none. We've measured it, dude. Like when somebody comes into CB and they're getting their own calls, we can effectively almost always double their close rate within like 2 or 3 calls with our coaches addressing some of the things they're doing wrong. So like especially the 2 to 3K monthers, you guys are closing maybe 1 out of 6, 1 out of 7. We can get you to 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4 pretty quick. So the technical is there, right? I just don't want the viewer to be like, oh, this is like a mindset program. No, it's not really. Really, it is a fundamental. We're gonna help you grow your business, but we cannot do that without addressing you, because you are the source of all of the growth. And there are so many lies that our culture and our environment and our world gives you that you have to basically like unlearn in order to succeed. And that's like job number one, in my opinion, is doing that while we give you a solid 90-day game plan of action so that you can do both at the same time. But that said, dude, you said you had a call with one of our coaches, Jeremy. He's also our one of our client success managers. Like if you were to schedule the call, odds are you'll speak with Jeremy or myself, right? And so what did you take away from that call? And as well as that, like how are you planning to continue to scale? Because you're doing 10,000 a month right now. Not a bad place to chill. You want to get to 15, 20. What's your time frame for that? How are you going to do that? And what are your longer term goals even past 15, 20?
Mhm. Yeah. So biggest takeaways from his call is, it's funny because I said the same thing for beginners, and it's the same thing for me: volume and consistency.
Yeah.
So I'm really just gonna be doubling down on what's been working already.
Mm,
Um, and yeah, time frame for hitting, basically the goal is 15 to 20K. I want to do it by the end of this year.
nice.
So yeah.
60
And
days,
then
double the business.
yeah, basically 60 days to double the business. And then longer term
Cool.
goals, man, I definitely want to be at 6 figures per month. And when
You'll do it.
I definitely, 100%, I want to do it within a year. I want to be at 6 figures a
Yeah,
month within a year. Um,
you'll do it,
that
man.
would definitely be the longer term goals. So
Yeah,
yeah.
man. No doubt, dude. No doubt. When you inevitably plateau at the 30, 40, 50K a month level, and maybe you don't, I don't want to speak this into being, reach out. We'll work with you. We'll help you build your team, help you actually build a proper structure, because our goal in CB is to get you to that level so we could literally just systematically create 7-figure businesses with our higher tier. So once
Mhm.
you're there, dude, hit me up. We'll figure something out. We take equity, we'll take a piece, and then we'll take a cash up front, and then we'll just get you there. It's been amazing. We've attracted a lot of clients in that direction recently. Not to sound so unabashedly self-promoting, but seriously, like that's what I want to do for you. But even honestly, without it, like 100K a month is not hard for you. It's just a matter of volume. Just do the math, dude. Like legitimately just do the math. Like how many clients is that? Which means how many meetings is that? Which means how much content and how many conversations, which means, just reverse engineer the math and start just forcing it into being. And as you recognize bottlenecks, just solve the bottlenecks along the way. Just keep fixing them. If it's like a sales bottleneck, okay, you need to start thinking about a rep. If it's a delivery bottleneck, okay, you need to start thinking about team or even adjusting your product to be a more scalable version of a done for you service. Like for a lot of our clients, we move them to consulting and coaching and group programs because that scales significantly better than the agency model. But yeah, dude, you will 100% do it. What do you think it'll be like once you get to that level? What do you think life will be like? Business will be like 100K a month. What's your dream vision here?
Man, I honestly don't even know. It'll probably be at the point where like, because before our call, I was like, you asked me how I felt when I hit 10K, and I was just like, it felt kind of normal to me.
Yeah.
So I'm sure like when I hit 100K, it'll be the same feeling. Just like this is normal to me because I was already the person before, um, kind of thing. So yeah, dude, that's really honestly my answer to that. Like I feel like it'll just be normal to me.
Yeah. That's exactly how it feels, dude. It literally um, I think we so desire to like celebrate and like be happy about the growth and everything, but like honestly, like by celebrating it, we actually keep it on a pedestal. You know what I mean?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so like if it's on a pedestal, then it's like separate from us, and then there's that like perceived void, that gap between you and it, and that can really hurt your mentality and prevent you from growing. So yeah, dude, once you get there, just keep growing. Like we just had a I don't think it's a record cash collected day. Yesterday we did 35,000 yesterday, and I'll admit I celebrated because it felt good. But right after I got back to work today, and I was just like, all right, like we had the team meeting. I said, hey guys, like we're gonna act like it didn't happen. Like let's just keep going. Let's just keep the pedal going. We've got momentum right now moving into November, and one of my core values for my business is when you have momentum, pedal harder. Don't let up that gas, because frankly, you're gonna wish you would have pedaled harder when you hit that next up, because you're gonna need the momentum to face it. But yeah, dude, anything to wrap up? I think it's been a valuable interview. But I'd love to just hear, like, is there anything that you kind of wanted to share? Anything that you kind of in the back of your head leading up to this meeting where like, I want to make sure that this is said, or really just balls in your court? Is there anything that you feel like would add value to the audience, or even myself, or anything like that?
Yeah. No. Basically, if anyone who is where I was, biggest thing would be to get help. Like it's simple as that. Oops, sorry about that. Siri went off for some reason. I don't know why, but like I'll say nothing with Siri and it'll
Dude,
just go
you know
off
what
for
it
no
is?
reason.
That happens to me all the time. I'll be on our group coaching. I'll do my Friday 2-hour intensive for
Yeah.
CV.
Yeah.
Go to your settings and cancel Siri. You can
Okay.
go to your settings and turn it off, because it happens to me all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So
go to your
anyone
settings,
watching this
turn it off.
interview, biggest takeaway is to cancel Siri.
There you go, dude. Clear up
No.
your energy and your focus.
Yeah. There you go. No, but for real, if you were where I would, just get help. Because that is your learning curve is gonna be significantly smaller. I think it's smaller or larger.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure which one it is, but you get what I mean. But yeah, no, get help, because if I didn't get help, I wouldn't be hitting 10K months. So just get help. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And like I mean, like Trey didn't tell me to say this in an interview, but man, him and his team have helped me so much, and it's like you really can't pay people like that back. So I just wanted to say thanks to you, thank you to your team, and I really appreciate all the things that you've done for me.
Dude, I love it, man. It's a crazy, the consulting model in general, man, is an incredible model where it's so easy to be so numbers driven and constantly on that wave of thinking. But like I'm just coming off the interview with Jeremy, and I'm doing this one. I'm like, dude, we are really doing something special, and it legitimately feels bigger than me. And so I will never say I'm too big to receive a compliment, because it legitimately does pour fuel on the flame. So I appreciate that, dude. It is a lot of fun what we do. We love it. And we want to continue to create more success, both for you and more people like you. So yeah, dude, I really appreciate that. Thanks for your time. Now I'm going to stop the recording and we're going to hang out for another 10 minutes or so. Because I don't know if there's anything else to chat about for the recording, and then we'll do some coaching, and then we'll send off. So thanks for your time. Thanks for being on the channel, brother.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.